So this is my 12th video in my self-mastery challenge, and this one's going to be talking about being very mindful and vigilant of narcissists in relationships. And a lot of people confuse narcissism with just solely being vain. But really, I'm talking about a narcissist who has the core characteristics of narcissistic personality disorder, so NPD for short. And basically, if they are highly socially exploitative, they have no empathy, they're highly entitled, they're very antagonistic, they tend to not have a conscience, and they, so much more. And you find that they tend to be highly manipulative in nature, they can't stand people above them, they have to have only people below them, etc. There's so many different things, but just being very, very mindful of them in relationships, because they can I think they appeal to us because they usually tick a lot of the kind of attraction cues. So things like being highly confident, they're usually in managerial positions, they usually have like high-end incomes, they tend to take care of their health, they tend to go to the gym, they tend to be very perfectionistic about living a well-rounded life. But the problem with it is obviously that on the outside looks very appealing, and they might have like massive social alliances or big followers on social media or something like that. And the problem is it's very alluring to the outside world, but the moment you're in a relationship with them, it can be very, very, very difficult. And a lot of people are very drawn in by the narcissist, and they'll do, when you first meet them, a stage called love bombing. And this is where they shower the victim in, admiration, validation. It's kind of like toxic love. They're over complimenting, you're saying things like, you're my soulmate, you're my life partner, when you've only just met them. And then once they've baited the victim in, what they will do is they will slowly go into what's called a devaluation phase. And basically what this means is that they will very, very subtly start to shame the victim. And this is actually a mental health condition, having narcissistic abuse victim syndrome. And if you've been through this extreme devaluation phase, it might take several years, it might take a year, it really depends on the person. But some people, when they have narcissistic personality disorder, or they're very high on the narcissistic end to say the least, sometimes their mask will slip and you'll see them for who they really are. And they can usually accompany that with narcissistic rage or temper tantrums, or they'll just physical desertion, they'll just leave you. And once they've gone through this excessive devaluation phase, they'll usually, at the very end, discard the victim and abandon them for someone else. And it starts the cycle with someone else again. Now, another phase that people don't talk about nearly often enough, I think, is that they don't talk about the re-idealization phase. So once they've gone off with multiple partners, they've left you, you're completely traumatized, lost, confused, what's going on, you thought you did everything right. Because what ends up happening at the end of the relationship, that, in my opinion, is who they really are. And what they will do, the victim will try and always get back to that idealization phase at the start. They're always trying to get back to where they were, and they think that they're at fault because of the devaluation. And then they'll discard you, and then they'll probably go for multiple other people. And then usually what they do is they usually try and re-idolize a previous victim. So they'll shower them again in the love bombing, shower them again in the love, validation, what it is, over complimenting, social media likes, whatever it is, to try and go through that same cycle again. Because a narcissist, really, their lifeblood is they have to have narcissistic supply. So they need someone adoring them, admiring them, and craving them, etc. And they want you in that addictive state. So be very, very mindful. Really read up on narcissistic personality disorder, read up on all the red flags, things to look out for, things like I said, love bombing. There's the second part of that is the gaslighting, where they kind of try and trick you, trying to get you to not trust yourself anymore. They'll say things like, why did you do this? Why did you do that? Or they will insinuate that you're lying about something that is true to make you second guess yourself. And at the very end, they usually discard the victim. So read up on that, get very, very, especially if you're in the dating world or you're a bit unsure about your partner, I definitely recommend looking into that if you have any suspicion. and it's good to know anyway, just to keep yourself safe. So hope you've enjoyed that video. If you have liked it, please subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.